everyone. Karen Glasser here.
And I'm Mel Greenberg. Today, we are home for the holidays. You're thinking about it.
And we're talking about it, so stay tuned.
Uncorked Live with Caren Glasser and Mel Greenberg. Making the most of life's peak stage and sharing it all with you.
So, Mel, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a hot toddy, which is it's a remedy of sorts because it cures everything when you're feeling ill. But also, it's warm. It's bourbon and hot tea and lemon and honey. And at this time of year, it is perfect. What are you drinking?
Well, I'm just doing hot chocolate, but of course with a splash of coffee liqueur because, if you're going to drink it, you might as well drink it. So, cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Welcome.
So today, Mel, I know we're talking a little bit about keeping family traditions alive and how important that is, especially during the holiday time, but during the whole year. But today we're talking about the holidays. So what does that look like exactly?
Okay, I'm going to divert a little bit. And this is a little bit of a surprise because I kind of threw this at Caren. And I woke up this morning at 3:00 thinking about this. And I wanted to kind of get a handle on the overwhelm, which is so easy during this time of year. We feel overwhelmed. Anxiety comes up. What do we do? So I thought I typically write three things I'm thankful for in the morning. I flipped it today and I said, what can I do? What are three things that really matter to me this season? And I picked up a piece of just a single sheet. And I asked Caren to do it. I'm going to ask you all to do this for yourselves, because once I wrote it down, every ounce of anxiety just kind of slipped out of me. I fell back into a beautiful sleep and I was ready for the day. And I feel like I'm ready for the rest of the month. So what's important to me are, first, to be fully present. And it's so easy. Don't you think, Caren, when we are so overwhelmed, December 1st hits and it's like, oh my God, holidays, parties, presents,
right?
Eating, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay healthy, for God's sake. And
right.
What to do. So we're not present. We miss everything around us. And because we're so worried about all these things that might happen. Do you?
Oh my God. You're preaching to the choir here. Yes, always.
Well, so that was number one, to be fully present. And then following that up, number two for me was to just relax, and I don't want to say breathe. I wrote relax, and that's kind of a novel concept to me because I'm always on the go. But don't you find, like, when you just breathe, but relax and just kind of lean into whatever's coming your way, all of a sudden it's not this huge mountain. It's not something you can't do.
I think our minds sometimes makes everything so much bigger than it really is. And when we just lean into it, I love that expression, leaning into it and just relax, we realize that it's maybe not that big thing. Yeah. It's maybe a little bit smaller, and we just need to, as you say, lean into it. I love that. That's great.
Yeah. And then number three was to take in every minute, every relationship, and just appreciate them all for what they are. Your tree might not get put up the right way. Right. Hanukkah latkes might be a little flat. It's all okay.
Yeah.
And I actually am going to start using that tag on my three things I'm thankful for, my morning writing. Like, how can I just appreciate this moment, this day? And I think getting through December for me that way is the easiest way.
I love those words. And those thoughts. When you threw this at me this morning,
and I lobbed it.
You really did. The only thing, and it's a huge thing, but the only thing that I could think about, and I continue to think about, is health, and that we get through these holidays in good health, as we have talked about, in the past several months. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of ill health in my family, and it continues. And all I want right now is to get through the holidays in good health. And that's my forward motion right now. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that we get through the holidays in good health. It's
What does that look like for you when you say good health? What do you do maybe differently than the rest of the year, or do you take other extra precautions? How do you take better care of yourself?
Totally taking extra precautions, especially right now, taking extra precautions. We talked about the fact that, Michael, my husband, has cancer, and is immunocompromised. And so we're taking extra precautions that way. And when we do go out, which we are starting to go out just a little bit, we're going outside just so that we keep him healthy and keep him and safe. It also means that in the morning, I'm being very diligent about eating my breakfast, so that I get nutrition, and making sure that I go out and take the dog for a walk, so I get some physical activity, even though the last thing that I want to do right now is any of those things. I'm staying very close to home. So those are the things that I'm doing. And I think that I'm going to be okay. I think that I'm going to make it through the holidays with a smile on my face, and with the people that I love in my life with good health.
Good. And that's a blessing. Do you find that the dynamic of your family changes during this time? Like how you interact, again, maybe related to all the stress on everybody of the season? Or do you all just
I don't think so. We already have our routines that we do during the holiday times, and because of the last several years, everything has been very remote, and we've done them remote, and so that will continue. And so the dynamic doesn't change at this point. My family, the dynamic changed 2 years ago when we never talked to each other, and now we talk to each other all the time. And I think that the reason that's happened is because of the health issues, and because of the world issues and things that are going on. So I don't think my family dynamics have changed that much in the last year, maybe in the last 3 years, but in the last year, not so much. And we're just going to continue with that, the love of family. And so, well, how about you? Does things change during the holidays?
No. And I've said this before, September 30th to January 1st is my favorite time of year. And whether the kids were here or in their respective places before, it's always been a really special time. We've always come together in one way or another, whether it's on a trip somewhere, traveling to get together. Now everyone's under the same roof, which has presented different challenges. And it's kind of funny. So I always put up a huge Christmas tree in my living room, which is now essentially a daycare. And so I thought, and so that was the first thing that was back, because my mind in like October, I'm freaking out. Like, what am I going to do? Where am I Christmas Day? Oh my God, I can't have things the way they were. And then I sat back and I thought about it. And it's like, I wouldn't want things the way they were, because that would mean the kids weren't there. So I let go of that, and I put up 2 small trees, and I did the whole house, and it feels so much better. And I think part of that was truly just letting go of what couldn't be. But I'm going to share a really fun story. So Dean and I were in Las Vegas this past weekend for a friend's birthday party, and we went up Thursday, and most people didn't arrive until late Friday, even Saturday morning for some. And we went up early because, as I mentioned, our home life has changed considerably. We have a full house again, and we don't get a lot of just us time. So we thought this would be fun. And I like Vegas. It's not my favorite place. I don't gamble. 2 nights and I'm usually done. So I would never in a bazillion years think that anything positive emotionally or spiritually might come out of that place. Has its benefits. It's a great place. Don't get me wrong. But it did. That one night that Dean and I went up early, from the minute we left here till the next day when we started seeing all our friends come in, was just for us. And we had the most incredible conversations, and it was the most beautiful time that we were present with each other. So it was sort of the upside, the unexpected, collateral damage of having this full house and taking advantage of a moment that we could to just be, to truly be with each other. And it was incredible. So that's what I thought, God, if this is starting my holiday, this is amazing. And I'm so grateful. And it's just beginning. It was
and you're appreciating it. And you're appreciating it. And that goes back to your 3 words, right? It's appreciation of what you actually experience. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And now the kids are, Matthew and Heather and the baby are going to be leaving and spending Christmas with her family. And part of me is like, oh, no, don't do that. I'm going to miss the little baby, but I don't want to be,
Yeah,
greedy because I
yeah.
get to see that angel every day. So, that's a little different. We have Dylan at home, and it's just every little bit is different than I ever imagined it to be at this time. And I think that's something that you and I talk about a lot, like how to navigate this time in our lives to be more flexible to whatever comes, because thankfully they're all healthy. We're all healthy.
Right.
And just enjoying the changes and appreciating them for however long they last.
I love that. Do you have traditions that you do every single year for the holidays? And are those changing for you?
We do. That's a really good question, Caren. We do, and I do. And I've thought about this a lot lately because I've thought, what are the traditions? Where did they come from? Did I carry them forward from my childhood? Or have I created new ones? And it's a little bit of both. And I like baking and cooking. It comes with me from as far back as I can remember.
Right.
And making those events special, whatever the events are. So that's with me. And I do that, and I bake, and cook dinners. Now I don't bake as much because I have Heather. She's an amazing baker, but cooking and the meals and planning and enjoying it, even if it's just appetizer. So that's a tradition. Let's see what else. Well, we do, and I've kind of, with Hanukkah, we celebrate and do everything really a big first night. And we light the candles all the nights. But as far, when the kids are young, yes, it was a little different. But so those are I think the traditions, and it was important to start our own with our family, that then they can, as their extended families grow, they will carry on some and start their own new. So I think, yeah.
That's great.
How about you?
I make potato latkes. I make potato pancakes. I've been making them for as long as I can remember. I'm the house that everybody will come to. I will stand there in the kitchen, frying up the
Smelling like oil. Yeah. For hours.
I used to wear a shower cap.
Yeah, you have to.
And then I bought myself an electric fry pan so I could do it outside so that I wouldn't get the smell all over the house. However, the smell is kind of yummy because it's potatoes and, it's delicious. So, I kind of moved it back in and we do it inside. But what's fun is to make the latkes and then have people literally at the kitchen counter as you're making them, and they're eating them as fast as you can get them out.
Yeah, I know. You never leave the stove.
Right. And everyone thinks they have the best latke, right?
Of course they do, because I do. So clearly you don't.
Clearly I don't. Well, mine is actually Marlene Sarofsky, who she's this amazing chef. She has some great cookbooks out there, and I've been doing her recipe. And her tip, just for if you're listening, is you put some vitamin C into your potatoes, and it keeps them white.
So powdered vitamin C?
Powdered vitamin C. And
I would try that.
It literally keeps your potatoes white, because we know that when potatoes, hit the air, they start turning brown, and it's kind of.
So then there truly is a Jewish penicillin.
There is truly a Jewish penicillin, and it's called vitamin C.
Interesting.
That's Marlene.
Never heard that.
Yeah, and that's.
Okay, I would try that. And I have another question for you. Have you tried air frying them?
I haven't, but I am the queen
did it
of
last
air fryers. Were they delicious?
They were delicious, and they were. I mean, you kind of circumvent the oil thing, but
wow, I'll have to try that this year.
And a little bit healthier.
One night, and do it.
So when we had a Jewish Italian deli for a few years, and when we would do the 8 nights of latkes, and we would do different latkes every night, highlight like zucchini, carrot, beet, and it was really fun to keep every year to come up with different combinations. And I think honestly, zucchini and carrot are my favorite.
Really? I'm a purist. Give me, it has to be potatoes, russet potato. Done. Not even a sweet potato. It has to be russet. I'm just a purist. With applesauce. What do you eat your latkes with?
Applesauce and sour cream.
Yum. Okay, now I'm getting hungry.
I know, right? When we're done here. So speaking of that, I come up, and I'm so guilty of this. I come up to our financial offices because this time of year, the treats start pouring in, and I'm really like, I eat healthy, take care of myself, and I it's like crack. I can't wait to get up here to see what's been sent. And I want to eat everything in sight.
Oh
All
my
the
gosh.
fudge, all the cookies, all the caramel, everything. How on earth do you stay focused on eating well, taking care of your body during this month? It just pours on from the minute you sit down at the Thanksgiving table, it doesn't stop.
Until the end of the year, and it's
Yeah.
just it's cookies and not just cookies and not just baking. It's food, really delicious food, right?
It's sweet. I mean, I eat a lot more sweets this time
Well,
of year.
that's where Core 50 comes in, right?
It is, because at least I can even in Vegas, I got my workouts in our room. I didn't have to go down to the
Wow.
gym, which the gym was fabulous.
Right.
I got them in. And that's the thing I love about Elaine's programs. And I do the Zen 50 as you do. And it's like you can just, and there were times this weekend I couldn't do the full 20 minutes. So I felt good knowing that I got 10 minutes. I got one rep in. One series. And it's wonderful. And you know what? I want you, if you're not familiar with Elaine and Core 50.
We'll be right back.
Your exercise time is only part of what it takes to make your body strong, lean, and flexible in your 50s. My challenging 20-minute workouts and whole body holistic approach will give you success. I'm a 57-year-old master personal trainer, and I designed these programs for women like us over 50. You can change your body at any age. CoreStrength50plus.com.
Hey, y'all, don't forget to click on the freebie that Elaine has given to all of us in the show copy below. It is a perky butt and hip strengthening sequence. Say that 5 times fast.
And we all want a perky butt, let's be honest.
You do. I want a perky butt.
Perky. I love that word. I
do too. And so, we kind of coined this, our barrel list, which of course, because, drinking and all that and wine comes in a barrel. But we're talking about books.
The things we love, and it's full this month, you guys. It's not just books. I mean, you're going to be so excited. There's so many fun things in our barrel. In our barrel.
So, I'm reading this amazing book. The author is Vishen Lakhiani, and he is the founder of Mind Valley, which is, I think, the top self-development company right now in the world.
You're kidding.
It is an online program, but they do live events. And the book, the reason why I like the book so much is, well, first of all, I meditate, as do you. Mm. And this is about doing 6 things, and it's basically about 12 minutes. And phase 1 is compassion and having compassion for yourself. And 2, the stage 2 is gratitude and having gratitude for things. And phase 3 is forgiveness, which is a really tough one for a lot of us, is being able to forgive. And then number 4 is a vision for the future. Number 5 is mastering your day. And then finally, number 6 is the blessing. And literally, he leads you through these 6 phases in about 12 minutes.
So you do each 6, you follow the whole trajectory.
Yes.
Each time you sit down to meditate.
Each time I sit down, and I was introduced to it by reading the book. And one of the things that comes with the book is an audio, free audio, where you can go and log in, and he talks you through it. So you don't even have to remember what the different phases are, because my memory is like, shot. So he talks you through the entire thing, and it's literally a 12-minute meditation.
So let me ask you this. You go through the same 6 benchmarks, if you will, each time. Yep. Do you find that they differ depending on what's going on in your world, or how they resonate with you differs?
Absolutely, because what you do on each one, you think about a person possibly, or a thing, and that changes. Changes. When you talk about forgiveness, he very specifically talks about, are there situations or people in your life that you need to forgive because they did something that you never have gotten over. And you go through the process of forgiving them. And he talks about the fact that it may not happen the first time you do this. It may take 4 or 5 times until you can literally come through it and forgive them. Not forget, but forgive them. And you give them a hug in your meditation. And when you can give them that hug and feel good about it, you can move to the next person. And sometimes the person you need to forgive is yourself. Give
So,
yourself.
that is so, it reminds me of the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, The 5 Stages of Grief, because
Yes,
you can't move on to the next one until you've fully
right.
connected and moved through the first one. And then you can go.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of the same. It's a progressive growth.
Totally a progressive thing. And he talks about that we are so much not living in the present, which I love what you said earlier about being present, that we don't live in the present. We're so busy worrying about what it's going to take to get to the next thing instead of appreciating where we came from. And so the whole focus of that piece of the meditation is remembering how good we really are and what we really did to get to where we are right now. It really gives you that confidence, not having to worry about, am I going to make it to the next stage? It is such a great book. It's an easy read, a really easy read. And the fact that it comes with the meditations, it's a no-brainer. I really encourage people, and we're going to put the link to the book in the show copy. Make sure you check it out. How about you, Mel? What are you doing?
I'm reading a really fun new novel. And before I disclose what that is, I'm going to introduce you to the author because she is friggin' amazing and you're going to love her. And this is another in a fabulous series that if you're not familiar with it, you will be. Enjoy.
So take a listen.
I'm happy to be here today with Dana Killian, best-selling author. And we're here really to talk about, first of all, your just released new book in the series, and also a little bit to get everyone to know you and talk about how you ended up here. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here, Mel.
I want to know first, what inspired you? Have you always wanted to be a writer, or is this something that happened at this time in your life? Tell us about that.
I've always been a reader, but I did not set out to be a writer until basically just a few years ago. I was going through some dramatic things in my personal life. I needed to switch gears a little bit in career, find something that allowed me flexibility to work wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And so I revisited this idea that had been in the background a little bit of trying my hand at a book. And when I made that decision, part of what I did was to think about, what do I like to read? And I found that there were very, very clear themes. I was always reading mystery and thriller. I was reading serious fiction. I liked a female protagonist, and I liked first-person point of view. So I set out to create a character that I could then take into series, which meant giving her a career that made sense. I don't have technical background in police investigation or FBI work, so I made her a journalist. It gave me so much flexibility to play around with the kinds of cases where she explored, where she went, who she talked to. So I started with the character, and then I've been creating situations for her since. My first book was published in 2017. And I'm just released number 5 in the series last month.
That's incredible. And I know that you have self-published these. And was that a conscientious decision that you made because of your audience, because of where you are in your life and what you wanted from this prospect?
It was a conscious decision on my part to publish independently. I'd investigated enough of the publishing process to know what the downfalls were of both types of publishing. For me, control of my market and my marketing message was probably the most important thing. As an independent author, I have complete control over the title, the cover, how it's marketed, when it's marketed, how often I release books. In a traditional world, publishers do take care of a lot of that for you, but you lose your rights. And the one thing that you still have to do as a traditionally published author is the marketing. And marketing is the hardest part. So to me, the differences were I could have control or I could give up control. And either way, I still had to do the marketing. So it seemed a pretty obvious way to me to...
You think that your background, first of all, you have an incredible background in retail and design and building successful companies. And because authors notoriously are quiet, and I ran into this. We don't want to, maybe we want it out there, but we don't want to be the ones to put it out there. And it's daunting. And because of your business background leading up to this time in your life, did you find that it made it easier or more a fun challenge?
I think it was a fun challenge. You're right that many authors really would prefer to just sit in their corner at their desk and write their books, and they think somebody else is going to do everything for them. And that again goes to that, well, I need a traditional deal because the publisher's just going to do everything for me. And it's just not true. Having been someone who owned my own apparel business, I had at least a little background. And more importantly, I knew how to find information. And there are tremendous resources and people that you can learn from. And the independent author community is extremely generous. So it was just a matter of finding the right people, understanding the cadence, and then understanding the technology part so that my light went out. The technology part so that I would, guess I'm going to be out of a light. The technology part to understand how to take it from a Word document into something someone could read on their iPhone.
So something just struck me when you were talking about the processes that you felt and the steps and getting out there, and you could find answers and you could get things, very journalistic qualities. Is there a little bit of Andrea in you?
I think there is. I think anytime you're creating a character, you take parts of yourself. I also took parts that I kind of wish I had. As I was starting to write, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And there were things about me that I wished were a little stronger. So I could kind of live vicariously and try some of those things out through my protagonist.
I love that. And that's because I relate to that. My characters, I've been often asked, is that you? How much of it's you? And like, as you said, there's always a piece of us. Of course, we're doing the writing, but it is kind of fun to sit back and go, oh, but I could be a little more of this or a little less this. And that's wonderful. And clearly that you've just released book number 5. So something's working and you are tapping into and touching your readers in a way that they're drawn in and they're excited about the character and the stories that you write. How have those things changed who you are today? You mentioned a couple times here with us that you were going through a difficult time, a challenge when this light went on that you were going to pursue these roads. How have the successes and changes that you've gone through changed you inside?
Oh, interesting question. Well, I think first of all, people that read series, they're reading for the character, not so much what happens, but the character and seeing the tenacity. And I think as I was writing, I was putting myself into that position of she has to be fearless. She has to be ballsy. She has to go after what she wants because otherwise her life is going to fall apart in a big way. And so you're kind of practicing, I think, trying out these qualities in yourself through that character. And it does, I think it does rub off. I think getting feedback from readers who, I just released book number 5 and it's been a month and I've already got when's number 6 coming. That's such a reinforcing that you're touching someone else, that you're sharing part of you and part of your heart with people who kind of come along for this ride. And as we just talked about, some of this character is me. So they're coming along with me and they're coming along with my character. And we're all kind of growing together and figuring out what the next stage of life is.
So is there a book 6 in the works or in the cloud?
Early stages. I'm more at the, haven't done any writing yet. I'm more in the brainstorming. Who are the characters that need to come forward that haven't perhaps played a big enough role in prior books? What scenario might be the core crime at the center of the story. So it's brainstorming stage and I'll start outlining shortly.
Well, I am thrilled for all of this. And I'm thrilled that you're here today with us. I had the joy of running into you and meeting you first almost a year ago here in Tucson. And it's great to have you, neighbor. And I'm curious. So book 6 is back there. It's kind of out there. What next? We know about, Andrea's journey and what's going on. What's next for Dana?
Well, the next thing is it's an overlap between my personal life and my writing life, because I've got a memoir coming out in May.
Wow.
And the memoir,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it touches on, more than touches on, it dives straight into all those difficulties that were going on in my life back when I started writing, and have kind of continued in one fashion or another over the last 5-6 years. So I'm doing something that is probably the most vulnerable thing I've ever done, and therefore it's the most important thing I've ever done.
And I love that you can say that and you can acknowledge that difference. And I literally was going to wrap up, but I can't without asking a couple more questions, because you just dropped a bombshell on us all. The difference for you in writing fiction and now bearing your soul in words on pages for all to read. How the decision to do that, first of all, and then the process, how different was it for you?
Yeah. Well, the decision came about very slowly. I was journaling as a way to supplement therapy, to process all the painful thoughts that were going through my head that I had no place for. And as I was journaling, I realized I think there's a book here. I think I need to write it. I don't know if I've got the courage to release it.
More of a cathartic start.
Which is different. Writing a book is different than putting it out into the world and letting the world see your vulnerability. But the more that I did that, the more I wrote, the farther along I got into it. I just kept thinking of all of the women that I've known over the years, family members included, who spent so much of their life regretting something that they didn't do. Women in particular, we set aside ourselves for everyone else. And it's sooner or later, it either eats away at you, or you've got to force yourself into, it's my turn, it's my time. And I know when difficult things happen to us as women, silence is our go-to response in most cases.
Yes, you nailed it. Yep.
And that's certainly what I did about what was happening in my life. Mm-hmm. And as I was writing the memoir, I came to see and came to understand that silence actually damaged me. And I thought it was protecting me. It was not. It was festering inside me. And so eventually I got to the place where I didn't know what I was more afraid of, publishing the book or not publishing the book, because to not publish the book would be another silence.
Yeah, you would have stayed in that space that you were trying so desperately to move beyond and grow beyond.
Correct.
Yeah. Wow. And do we have a release date yet for that?
May 18th.
This year? 2023?
23.
Wow.
And the title is Where the Shadows Dance.
Will you come back and talk with us about it once it's out?
I'd be delighted.
I would love that. And I know all of our followers and everyone would really appreciate that. I think that it's beautiful to just have seen your arc right here, from facing a challenge, challenges in your life and reaching to something that brought you joy, and finding it through your mystery writing and through this incredible series and the success there. And then furthering that healing in your life this way. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. And I'm really excited for May 2023 for that release. But in the meantime, everyone, you can get the latest in the Andrea Kellner series. And it is on Amazon. The links are on all of our properties. This is Dana Killian. Thank you so much for being with us today. Wishing you the
pleasure, Mel. Love to do it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Is she not amazing?
Amazing.
I think as excited as I was about this next book, I'm more excited about the memoir that's coming. I can't wait till she releases that, because it's going to be incredible. And I'm always in awe of people who have the courage to, first of all, go through what she's gone through and come out the other side as brilliantly as she has, but then to share the story, because we can all benefit. We can all learn something from other people's roads. So to that end, now I get to relax, and we have more of our barrel list. And this is the movies, our favorite holiday movies, which is my favorite thing from Thanksgiving. The holiday, that's my favorite, number one, all time, with Cameron Diaz and Jude Law. And there was something going around the internet yesterday that they signed to do a sequel. I've now found it debunked, but maybe if we keep putting it out there, it will, put the intentions out to the universe, it will happen, because who wouldn't love to see Jude Law again?
Yeah. Hey, absolutely.
Right.
So we have a whole list here of movies, and you want to just run through the list. And by the way, guys, there's a link to all of these movies sitting in the show notes. So click on it after you watch this. You can go check them out. So what are some of the movies on this list?
Well, so Love Actually.
Great movie.
Good Laugh, Elf.
Mhm.
100%. Still one of my favorites. The Night Before I Die. I
I
laugh.
don't think I've seen that. I'm going to have to go look it up.
With Seth Rogen.
I don't
You
think
will
I've
not
seen it.
stop laughing. It's one of the
All right.
funniest movies I've ever seen. It's him. I think it's his best. He just kills me. Historically, and even now, all the new versions of it, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Of course.
Grew up with that. It's so fun to see what it's evolved into. How about you? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's how many years? I mean, every year it's something that you watch, right? You have to watch it because it's every single year.
You have to. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
And Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I haven't seen that. I have to go watch that.
Oh my goodness, you have not.
I'm not a big movie television watcher, but I think over the holidays I should probably do that. Now the next one is Home Alone. Now I totally seen that one. I've seen that one, I think, more times than I should admit. All I can think of is that little kid, going with his hands on his face. That's what I think of Home Alone.
I know, it was such a cute movie. And Miracle on 34th Street is a classic.
Total classic. Polar Express. It's
beautiful.
Recent
such a beautiful film. Tom Hanks was amazing.
And Christmas Vacation, isn't that with Chevy Chase?
Yeah, everything he does was so much fun.
He's hysterical. And so don't forget, click on the link down below. But wait, there's more. We also have a holiday playlist of our favorite holiday music, and we're going to put the link in there as well. Mel does a phenomenal job going and sorting through all the songs that are out there, and she put together a great playlist just for the holidays. But as we say,
fun. It's on it's just nonstop at my house. It's on Amazon, because you have not Amazon, Echo. And I would just say, Alexa,
right,
play for me. Yeah, it's just soothing. It's just really nice music to have on.
It is. And I have it on all the time. I do. I just put it on in the morning, and it just goes, because it's a long list. There's a lot of songs on there.
Well, and there's a lot of classics, but there's an awful lot of contemporary jazz versions of the classics, which I like and I find soothing. And just kind of, as we talked about before, the anxieties that can arise during this time, just to have some genuine, gentle music on in the background is so nice. And even driving, because, there's a lot of psycho drivers out there.
I was going to say, a lot of psycho drivers out there.
A lot of psycho drivers. Yeah, I know this season, though, it feels so much better and brighter than recent holiday seasons.
Thank
goodness. And I don't know if it's just because we're doing the work, and you guys are all, I know if you're listening, you're committed to moving through these years
right,
stronger and learning, and it's always learning to be better and do better. And I think the work that we're all doing is playing out in how we're going through this time, because this is sort of like, the curtain's up, showtime. This is the worst time of year to be stressed.
I agree. Now, Mel, you and I had some fun the last several weeks going through our favorite products and our favorite gifts for the holidays. And we actually put together 12 products that we absolutely love. And if you go to uncorkedlive.com, you are going to see 12 of our favorite products, kind of like a la Oprah, even though we're not Oprah, but it's our favorites, and we would love to hear what you think about them. Let us know if any of our favorites are your favorites, or did we miss one
Yeah, share with us.
Please share.
We're always excited to learn about new things. And these are products that we use, that we have discovered or have used for years and just will never stop using.
Totally. I am loving this peak stage journey I'm on with you, Mel, and with all of our listeners. And you might have noticed, guys, that we are on a podcast right now. We have shifted a little bit. We're not on a video. We're not on a video. And
Because it happens. And we decided it was time to make the move.
And we did. And we want to thank you for always being with us. And we hope to see you next time.
Do. And have a beautiful, beautiful holiday. However you're spending it, wherever you are, we're thinking of you and love you. And we're so glad that you're a part of this journey with us. Take care. Ciao. This is your time. Make the most of it.